Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to a new video on East Coast Manga. So today we're going to be talking about a manga that just absolutely rips your soul out, but in like the best way possible, if that makes any sense. And the manga we'll be talking about today is Bokurano Ours. Now, this is a manga that's manga and anime, or let's call it title, is a title that has gotten very popular within the last couple weeks, mostly because of the Trash Taste podcast. Now, this title's been out for a while now, and it's had its popularity, it's had its time, but I feel like not a lot of people really talked about it that much, and I definitely never heard of it before that podcast. When I watched that section of the podcast, the way they described it was just so interesting that I knew I had to get it. Now, the unfortunate part with this manga is every single volume is affordable. It's all retail. You can get on Amazon. I don't think Right Stuff has this manga in stock at all. The issue though is volume 3 is very out of print and very out of stock, so that volume does run you like $100, which is just, it's insane for one volume of manga. It's also kind of unfortunate. I heard the anime director and the mangaka had creative differences when the director was making the anime, so the anime took a little different route somewhere. I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know exactly how dramatic or how drastic it is, but I did hear the anime is pretty good, so if you want to watch that, I think you should definitely do that. But to talk about this story for a little bit, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but there's a certain concept revolving around death that I do just need to talk about. If I don't talk about it, I can't make this video. You can't make this video without talking about it. So if you don't want to know anything about this manga, I recommend just clicking off here, going to check out the anime, going to check out the manga, you know, if you don't want to be surprised by anything before watching or reading. But honestly, what I'm about to talk about is the reason why I got into this. I don't see it as a spoiler. I just see it as a very heavy concept throughout this entire manga. So some people may look at this and think that it is, you know, heavily revolved around mechs and mech fighting and piloting, you know, robots and all this other stuff. And while it is piloting a robot and it does revolve around mech fights, to me, that's actually not the main focus and the main concept. The main focus to me is the concept of knowing you're going to die soon and not being able to do anything about it, and having to stay strong to save other people around you. And I know that may sound a little strange, but imagine it as you know that you're going to die, let's say 2 days from now, and the emotional toll and the mental toll that it takes to stay strong. And I don't know, honestly, it's really difficult to talk about. But the story for this manga and anime is basically you have 15 kids, all in 6th graders, and they get essentially tricked into signing a contract where they essentially sign up to pilot this mech who has to fight other mechs. There are 15 rounds of fights, and the duration of this manga I think probably lasts between like 1 to 2 months at most. There's usually a couple days in between battles, and the thing with these battles that make it so insane is that A, you have to win these battles. If you lose, your Earth gets completely destroyed. And B, even if you win, the pilot who's piloting the mech at that time ends up dying. And then once again, that rolls into the concept of knowing you're going to die and not being able to do anything about it. And that's why the actual mech fights themselves really isn't what captures my interest. I think one of the downfalls of this manga is actually some of the artwork when it comes to the mech fighting. Sometimes you can't really tell what's going on. But moving away from that, the big parts to this manga is that concept and the backstories that they give these characters, I think are just absolutely phenomenal. And in my opinion, they don't overdo it, and they don't make all 15 characters have these super emotional sob story, you know, backstories. But in my opinion, they hit the nail right in the head, and they give enough backstories to enough characters where you just like, you really feel attached to these characters. You know, sometimes manga, I feel like, gives backstories to throwaway characters, and you don't really get enough time to really feel attached. That's not how I feel about this manga. Some people may feel this, I don't though. And there's some twists and turns and stuff like that, but overall, I mean, I really enjoyed the characters and everything that this manga had to offer. It just seemed like it was talking about a topic that you might get from, you know, a mangaka such as Inio Asano, but this isn't an Inio Asano story. And also the fact that these are 6th graders, they're kids, like these aren't adults. These aren't adults accepting death or accepting their fate. Like these are kids having to accept that they're going to die, and they can't tell you know, their parents sometimes, they can't tell their family members or their friends, and it's just an absolutely wild ride to the end, in my opinion. Personally, I wish they reprinted Volume 3 so you wouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg to buy it, but at the same time, there is an anime that is pretty well accepted, so I would recommend checking that out. That's how I was going to check it out before I was able to find a deal for my volumes. And personally, there was a lot more things with this manga that I liked than I disliked, but if anyone wants to see a very in-depth, you know, more review on what I like and dislike about this manga and get into spoilers and stuff like that, I can upload something like that. But for this video, I wanted to really free of spoilers. Sometimes I know I do half and halves, but I just didn't want to do that in this case. I think what I talked about is exactly what you should hear before going into this anime or manga. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I feel like this is such a different manga and anime than I'm used to reading. Even some of my, you know, darker or more, you know, sad manga or anime. And I absolutely want to thank Trash Taste for talking about this, because once again, I had no idea this even existed. So that's gonna be it for this video, and we'll catch you guys later.